Everyone's kerfuffling.
Okay, so the first thing that just jumps out at me, though, isn't it? Is it better than what goes before? And clearly, from my point of view, it delivers on that, isn't it? I can't remember whether it's Ian White who was on Property Industry Eye, who's defending the point that literally there are millions of these valuation tools at request going on a yearly basis, and they're famously erroneous, isn't it? But that doesn't stop the public from absolutely loving them and engaging with them on an ongoing basis. So this is just an adaptation, an evolution, if you will, of that and ultimately the public will decide on it, won't they, whether they like this kind of thing or not.
I agree. And also what I like is that throughout that process, Boomin or the SmartVal tool are pushing people to have a physical valuation.
Yeah.
So it's a lead capture form, isn't it? It's a lead capture which allows you, or is less risk of having to backtrack during the actual physical valuation, because the valuation tool gave somebody an exaggerated market valuation based on data.
And
also avoids the clumsy message that you see on a lot of websites. Where they'll say get an online val or book a physical appointment, and when you get the online val, it will say messages along the lines of, online valuations can be wild. If you want a more accurate valuation, get in touch, which feels quite a clumsy message, and this feels more accurate.
It definitely does, doesn't it? Because look, what's the risk from that is, let's be honest, a lot of those automated tools are quite good with 2 up, 2 downs in a particular area. But where they do get it completely wrong, and it is, as you said that yourself there, wild, Paul, that they're not really going to engage despite the message there are. You still need to be in the right ballpark, don't you, to win it, have any kind of credibility.
Yeah, no, I also think about motivation. I'm sort of thinking about myself here. If I was sort of being nosy and trying to work out how much my house is worth, and I'm the Joe Blogs, I'd maybe go on Zoopla and just have a look at the wild estimate there, or the estimate there. Whereas if I want something a bit more accurate, because I'm thinking maybe either remortgaging or getting an extension or putting my house on the market, this is a better tool, a better way of doing it. So therefore, the inquiries that an agent's going to get, in my opinion, are probably going to be better than ones from just a purely online tool.
But also, you're stopping the time waster who is just going to keep. What did they say? It was every 3 months is the limit to what someone can have. So that stops, dare I say it, the lunatic fringe from attempting to waste your office's time. Rich, was this the area you felt was probably most contentious when we spoke kind of off previously on the subject, in terms of it's around those tweaking or seeing how the public react to the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes? Just talk to us about what your concerns were.
My concerns would be, if we take a standard estate agency office in the UK, I think ultimately they've probably got a branch manager or a business owner who's also the lister. Then they've got an assistant manager who lists at the weekends that the branch manager's not working, and then a couple of negs and an administrator. And I think that's generally how most single branch businesses will work. And what the concern is the lister's probably out all day on a Saturday, all day on a Sunday if they're open, and from 4 o'clock in the afternoon most weekdays. And as such, in order not to miss out on any leads, my concern is, because of that 15-minute time frame, it then goes to one of the negs who's never valued a property in their life. And is that meaning that the customer's getting incorrect information purely so they get put in front of a vendor? Because I don't believe the lister has the ability at 5:45 on a Tuesday evening, sat on somebody's sofa, to get an alert on their phone and deal with it in that 15 minutes.
Your concern, therefore, would be you've got to be consistent all of the time, haven't you?
Yeah, if you are going to, and I genuinely believe it does, promote a valuation tool based on accuracy, that accuracy comes from a lister who's valued 200 of those properties before over the last 18 months, understands it, understands why that one may get 10 grand more than the one down the road because they've seen it, not the negotiator who's been doing the job for 12 months, 18 months.
And the reality is that experienced lister isn't available 24/7 anyway, are they?
Yeah.
Because by definition, that's not how most agencies are made up. And Paul, you made the point as well as, you know, as well with a kind of call center, that could be again another risk in terms of not getting the full experienced feedback you think you're getting.
Yeah, but then equally, going back to your point, Rich, about a one-man band, if you're mom and pop estate agency and there's you, maybe another family member and some employee, even if you're on the sofa, you can't respond to that one there and then. You're more likely to take the ones later at night, you know, and in those kind of peak visiting periods between 7 and 9, you're more likely to pick them up. So I think it sort of swings both ways. Sometimes you're available, sometimes you're not. But they're more likely to be available in the evening, particularly late at night when you're running your own business.
But those with the customer service ethos have the ability now, don't they, to shine? Yeah,
as long as. Is it bad customer service if it says that you're not available?
No,
because the problem is, you haven't got the opportunity to ring them up and say, I'm really sorry I wasn't available. You know, I was out valuing a property or something like that. It just sort of says you're not available, choose somebody else. So what's the right impression that we want to give to potential vendors? That's the difficulty I have.
Can I take it back?
But I do like the tool. You know, I think it's better than what's there right now.
And that's the point. Let me take it back to food, because that's everything that I ever revolve around. We all know, and I remember pleading with Just Eat magazine to approach a certain Indian restaurant that had never ever done delivery, and I kept just saying, please, Just Eat, will you please? But you will. It will be a similar thing, though, won't you? Some people will know the great agents who actually operate in their area anyway. So it's not like, for those people that have an understanding, they see the boards everywhere, they will probably have an idea in their head of one of the agents they want to talk to. And this is a way of facilitating that and getting the sensible amount that you want to have out to get this process right, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Sorry, Paul.
No, go on, Richard.
It'll be interesting to see once we've got some trends of what the most popular times are. You know, the concern is that 6 till 10 become the most popular times because people are sat in their living rooms having conversations around moving, etc. And how frustrated and how many agents will respond within the time period, and how many agents just don't, and therefore leaves a negative consumer experience who's on the Boomin site.
Yeah, I think if it was my business, I would probably set up a triage type approach, because the alert can come into more than one person. So you could have the alert go to the lister, senior neg, and neg, and I would set up an idea where anybody can claim it, because there's that kind of accept button, isn't there? There's a claim, and they get it. So if it's the lister, you just trust the lister to do it. If lister's available, great. Senior neg, you would expect a senior neg to be kind of pushing towards wanting to be a lister, understand house prices, have a good idea, and probably have the confidence that they would reply with something realistic. So that's fine. But if it's a neg or a junior neg or anything like that, that's the bit you don't quite trust. So for me, I would have them reply, but not click send. And sometime in that 15-minute window, where possible, try and get the attention of the lister if they're in, or the senior neg, and ask them to just quickly glance at it, triage it, and when it's okay, send it off. And then that way, you could probably reply to nearly all of them.
Yeah, but the other point we're missing is it comes down to that comments, doesn't it? If I am a senior neg, so I know roughly, you know, everybody in that branch with over 12 months experience will have a rough idea. If they put their rough idea down there, and in that comment section, it says, I've worked in the property industry a long time, I don't actually list properties, or your area, where your property is, isn't my area of speciality, However, my colleague Paul, who knows your area intimately and has been selling properties in your road for the last 20 years, he'll be able to confirm this valuation. Is there a telephone number we can contact you on, or contact him on so-and-so? You're meeting the criteria, you're sending it across within 15 minutes, but you're also suggesting that, you know, you might be a little bit out, but you have somebody in your business who knows their area intimately and is a local specialist. And I think that probably overcomes the challenge. I think we're probably looking for flaws slightly.
That's good customer service as well. I like that approach, particularly if then it's followed up with a phone call from Paul saying, "Hey, Richard sent you this valuation. I've just had a glance at it. It's a little bit out compared to what I would say. So how about I come round and have an atta?" Something like that. Yeah. It's great. It's a reason to call, isn't it? All of it's about finding reasons to call.
Yeah. And we spend a lifetime, don't we, looking, I mean, in our train spotter world here at Kerfuffle Towers, looking at so many different products that, you know, offer up, you know, new ways of here's getting more interest, more leads. And as we know, especially in the market at the moment, you know, they're not short of leads, but what are those leads? Are they Glengarry, Glen Ross really hot leads, or are they ones that just threaten to swamp your team in terms of there? It strikes me as if they get this bit right, these should veer into that former one, shouldn't they? Where they're quite hot leads and should be prioritized accordingly.
I think so. These are potential vendors at the early stages of the decision of to choose which agent to list with, and they're probably at the point before they've done any research on agents to ask the mates about which ones would you choose. So they're just working entirely off brand awareness, in my opinion. And it's all then how many boards have they seen? And it's great because it should, in theory, you know, just mean as long as you're doing good brand awareness marketing, you're going to get the leads through this.
Everyone's kerfuffling.